Greetings everyone! I hope you're all having an amazing day. In today's video, we'll be diving into all the upcoming modules in Arknights and talk about which ones are worth upgrading and which ones you might want to skip. To keep the video short, I'll be focusing mainly on the modules for 6-star operators that are available in the game. I won't be including 4 and 5-star operators. I'll save that for another video. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Right now, we have the Kasdelian Rescue event live on global server. And with this event, Spreadshooter Snipers finally received their first modules. So, what does this module do? It enhances the Spreadshooter Snipers base trait by increasing the damage dealt to all enemies in the row directly in front of them. For Chen Alter, it improves her first talent, increasing the chance of not consuming ammo from 20% to 25% at module level 3. And even ranged operators from other classes can have this effect as long as their skill has ammo-based mechanic, but their chances are only 12%. While this lets Chen Alter fire more shots and deal more damage, it doesn't significantly shift her place in the meta. Personally, I think a DP cost reduction would have been a better improvement. That said, this module makes her more useful in general content. In my opinion, now her role has changed from the best DPS in game to extra ammo provider for other ammo-based operators. Next, we have Mostima with X module. It extends her range and enhances her first talent, boosting SP recovery for herself and other casters. Unlike her Y module, which improves her crowd control capabilities, this one focuses more on support. Her skill too becomes more spammable as the SP cost is nearly halved. This makes her a stronger support for caster-heavy teams. This module is a great addition if you want to use Mostima as a support caster. It makes her more flexible than her Y module, definitely worth considering if you use her frequently. Swire Alter got her Y module. It adds a new effect to her trait, granting extra attack whenever the trait cost is paid, stacking up to 5 times. It also improves her second talent by reducing revive DP cost from 5 to 3. And instead of doubling DP cost with each revive, it now only increases by a fixed 3 DP. This makes her great for a high-risk, high-reward playstyle, effectively turning her into an immortal stalling machine. However, if you prefer a safer and more DP-efficient playstyle, her X module would be the better choice. Moving on, we will have the Dungeon Meshi Collab event. And in this event, the Crusher Guards will finally get their first module. For Hoederer, it boosts healing received by 20% and enhances his second talent, increasing the Sanctuary effect from 18% to 28% at level 3. It also grants plus 10% physical damage. And for Ulpianus, this module improves his first talent with more HP restoration. Between the two, Hoederer benefits more from maxing his module since the extra physical damage and Sanctuary effect boost his performance. Ulpianus, on the other hand, is already very tanky, especially when paired with Abyssal Hunters, so leaving his module at level 1 is totally fine. Next, we have Irene's X module. This module increases her skill damage by 10% and restores 6 SP after her skill ends at level 3. It is a good module if you use Irene a lot. This module is a great investment for a faster skill cycle. But for occasional use, her Y module isn't that bad either, since the difference in damage output isn't that big, which makes her X module more of a quality of life upgrade. So, to make it simple, if you use her frequently, then get the X module. Otherwise, leaving her with the Y module is also fine. After the Dungeon Meshi Collab event, we will get the next batch of modules in the Siege Alter event. Let's talk about them one by one. The Bard supporters will get their first module. This module will give a new effect to their traits, which is increasing attack when 2 or more operators are in their range. For Skadi Alter, the module extends her Seaborn's field time from 25 seconds to 30 seconds at level 3 and reduces its redeployment time by 5 seconds. As for Civilight Eterna, it slightly enhances trait effects on allies and provides additional healing when her orbs hit operators. I believe you should consider maxing them if you think about using them in harder endgame contents, where every second counts. Otherwise, just leave their module at level 1. Anyways, Horn and Stainless will also receive their Y module in this event. Let's talk about Horn first. This module buffs her trait and her second talent by giving her more attack speed, which may sound nice, but it's not that big of an upgrade. Because if you use her skill 1 and skill 2, then this module becomes useless, and the only time it's useful is when using her skill 3. But still not a big damage increase, if you compare the damage with her X module. So, in my opinion, if you mainly use skill 3, upgrading this module is worth considering. But if you prefer skill 1 or 2, her X module remains the better pick. Now for Stainless. His module reduces redeployment time of his support devices and grants up to 12 attack speed to operators under the effect of his device. If you're using Stainless, there's a high chance you're relying on his skill 2 the most, which is arguably his best skill. In that case, I highly recommend giving him the Y module, as this module grants additional attack speed to operators on top of what the skill provides. The extra attack speed also synergizes well with skill 1, enhancing its overall effectiveness. However, if you prefer using skill 3, then the X module would be the better choice, as it better complements its mechanics. Anyways, next we have the Lapland Alter event, and in this event we are getting a bunch of new modules. Starting with the best module in the list, which is the module for Ritualist supporters. Virtuosa gets a pretty good buff, as this module boosts her elemental damage against elite or bosses by 18%. Additionally, it increases the damage of her second talent by 13% with 5% fragility effect at level 3. Therefore, I highly recommend you to get this module to the max level when it comes out. Next, Lessing will be getting his Y module, and most of you are already familiar with what Y modules do for Dreadnought guards. They essentially give them a second chance at life, allowing them to survive a fatal hit at the cost of reduced max HP, while also granting extra attack speed. For Lessing specifically, this module provides an additional buff to his first talent, increasing its damage reduction by 5% at level 3. But the main highlight is the extra effect it comes with. It lets Lessing ignore 12% of the target's defense when attacking. Now, when it comes to skill synergy, this module works best with his skill 2, as it essentially doubles the effect of his talent, making him much tankier and harder to take down. So, if you primarily use Lessing as a Helidrop unit with skill 2, then the Y module is your best bet. Otherwise, if you use him in a more general role, then sticking with the X module would be the better option. Now, moving on to Angelina and Rosmontis. Both of them will be receiving their specialized modules. Keep in mind that these modules are designed specifically for integrated strategies. So, if you don't play that mode or don't typically use these operators in IS, you can completely ignore these modules. But for those who are curious, let's quickly go over what they do. For Angelina, this module allows her to reduce enemy weight by 1, which might not sound like much at first, but once you reach level 3, she basically turns into an even better Hoederer by constantly levitating enemies with her skills. On top of that, levitated enemies will take increased arts damage, making her a much more potent crowd control unit. As for Rosmontis, this module gives her an extra 100% of her attack as arts damage, effectively turning her into a pseudocaster. At level 3, she also gains the ability to summon a stronger pillar with special effects, and she can do this within the range of another sniper or caster. So, whether or not you should go for these modules entirely depends on your playstyle. If you play integrated strategies and use these operators frequently, these modules can be a good way to boost their performance. But if not, you can safely skip them. Moving on, in the Thorns Alter event, we'll be getting modules for arts guards, and these two ladies will finally receive the buffs they desperately needed. Let's start with Surtr. Her module grants her plus 8 attack speed when she's not blocking an enemy, and at level 3, her attacks will ignore 26 res. It's a pretty simple upgrade that slightly boosts her overall damage output, though it's not a game-changing improvement. On the other hand, Viviana gets a much more impactful buff. Her modules allows her to deal extra arts damage, and at level 3, she deals an additional 9% burn damage. What makes this even better is that this effect doubles when attacking bosses or elite enemies. But that's not all. When enemies are under the burst effect of the burn damage, she also deals an extra 15% of her attack as elemental damage, further boosting her overall DPS. Compared to Surtr, Viviana's module is a massive upgrade. We all know how underwhelming her damage was when she was first released, but with this module, she can finally hold her own and dish out a respectable amount of damage, especially against elite enemies or bosses. So, if you enjoy using either of these two for daily content, you might want to consider upgrading their modules to max level for their best performance. And we're not done yet. Just like Surtr and Viviana, our beloved Apple Pie is finally making her comeback with her Y module. This module enhances her first talent and introduces a new defense-ignoring mechanic. At level 3, she gains up to plus 20 attack speed and ignores 250 defense. The difference in her damage before and after this module is like night and day. She can now shred through high defense enemies with ease, making her much more viable in the current state of the game. Needless to say, if you want to use Exusiai effectively in the current in-game content, this module is a must-have and is highly recommended to be upgraded to max level. Up next, we have the U and Blaze Alter event, where Earthshaker guards will be receiving their new modules. Starting with Pepe, her module provides extra attack and improves her first talent, allowing her to gain 2 SP per kill instead of 1 when her skill is active at level 3. However, since this module doesn't offer a major improvement, you can unlock it and leave it at level 1. There's no real need to max it out. Next, Lin, Chongyue, and Zwali will be receiving their Y modules. For Lin, this module enhances her trait, making her deal more damage the more enemies there are, up to 15% bonus damage. Additionally, it shortens her barrier refresh time slightly, giving her more uptime on survivability. But as someone who loves using Lin, trust me on this, stick with her X module. It provides far better utility, allowing her to activate skills more frequently as long as she's being attacked. For Chongyue, his Y module boosts his first talent, giving him plus 10 attack speed and plus 10% extra damage. However, much like Lin, his X module is still the better choice since it helps him activate skills faster. That said, if you like pairing him with any SP battery operator, then the Y module could be worth considering. The extra attack speed and damage could give him a noticeable edge. Otherwise, his X module is still the more reliable option. Now for Zwali, his Y module adds survivability by giving him a second chance upon fatal damage, similar to Dreadnought guards. On top of that, it improves his second talent, granting an extra 120% attack boost and a 10% higher chance for SP regeneration. While this module does provide better survivability and some offensive buffs, I still think his X module is the better choice overall. It synergizes better with his first talent, making his DPS more consistent, and the Sanctuary effect helps him with his low HP playstyle. Of course, some of you may disagree, and if you do, feel free to share your opinions in the comments. Now, let's talk about the specialized modules. This time, Eunectes and Dusk will be receiving theirs. For Dusk, her module allows her to attack an additional target, and at level 3, her summon gains a shield and deals 100% extra arts damage. But the real highlight is all other operators in your squad will be able to summon her creature with their first attack, making her summons far more versatile. Eunectes' module, on the other hand, is a bit different. It only takes effect in the Reclamation Algorithm game mode, not in integrated strategies. This module lets Zumama restore SP when she's under the effect of provisions, and she can attract enemies across a wide area with her thick tail. Additionally, It improves her SP recovery rate, grants her 2 extra block count when using skills, and all blocked enemies receive 40% physical fragility, making them take significantly more physical damage. As I mentioned earlier in the video, if you play these game modes and use these operators, then their specialized modules are absolutely worth considering. They're specifically designed to enhance their performance in those game modes and will make your runs much smoother. Personally, I've completed every integrated strategy, but I haven't touched the reclamation algorithm mode due to time and energy constraints. So, are any of you planning to upgrade these specialized modules? Let me know in the comments. And with that, we've covered all the new modules in the list. I really appreciate all of you for watching, and as always, feel free to share your thoughts or opinions. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.